Hey there, welcome back to the channel. And if you are considering a move to Montana, we're going to dive into one of the biggest questions that I get from people considering making the move to Big Sky Country. What is life really like living in Montana compared to California? If you're dreaming of wide open spaces, escaping the city rush, a slower pace of life, or you want to live like the people do on the show Yellowstone, well, we're going to cover it all. I'm going to talk about the weather, taxes, cost of living, lifestyle, and more. If you stick towards the end, I'm actually going to be giving real talk as a Southern California native moving to Montana, what they don't tell you, what you need to know before you actually consider making the move. My name is Lindsay Iskierka, and I am a real estate agent with the Living in Kalispell real estate team. We get calls, emails, and texts from people just like you who are considering making a move to Montana or just want some real talk about what life is like here and start to plan their relocation. So if that's you, all of our contact information is below. Feel free to reach out anytime. We'll get you started on your Montana dream. So let's dive right into it. Okay, first off, let's talk weather. This is a big one and a huge thing to consider if you're thinking about leaving a place like California for Montana. California is known for its sunshine, Mediterranean type of climate, not too humid, not too cold. Most areas enjoy the mild weather, mild winters and dry summers, especially Southern California where I came from. And it's always sunny and warm, it seems, right? Well, Montana is a very different story. We get all 4 seasons and we get them in full force. So winters are cold and snowy, especially in places like Kalispell where I am and places like Bozeman. If you're more in the mountains, you are going to get that more mountainy, cold, snowy weather. To be real, the temperature will fluctuate in the wintertime from like the low 20s or so during the day up into like the low 30s. So that's where it generally sits, but we do get those cold blasts, we call it, where you get a short burst of really cold weather. We're talking like negative 30, even negative 40, I think was last winter. We had 2 days of negative 40 and it was cold, but that doesn't last. The majority of the winter, like I said, is like the 20s and 30s. We do get snow. We don't get too much snow, but we do get some snow. And you are just 20 minutes from me. You're just 20 minutes from Whitefish Ski Resort, or if you're in Bozeman, you're next to Big Sky, and you have some great winter weather to do some fun activities in. But if you're not used to snow, it is going to be a huge adjustment. You have to learn to drive in the snow. The roads are icy. You got to know how to drive in a snowstorm and how to navigate that. So definitely keep that in mind. Summers are beautiful. They are warm, they're dry, they're not humid or muggy. It doesn't get too hot and it is perfect for your outdoor adventures. So hiking, biking, days at the lake and paddleboarding, which is one of my favorite things to do, and bike rides. It's just a great time to be outside during summertime in Montana. Fall is one of my favorites. It is crisp, it's colorful, it's beautiful, it's still really sunny, it's not too cold, perfect for bonfires and crisp mornings and warm days. It's really beautiful. The leaves change, it's spectacular. Spring is a bit unpredictable. You will get some bursts of warmer weather and rain and mud and slush as the snow melts, and then it'll snow again the next day. So spring is really a big transition season in Montana, and it can be a bit unpredictable and a bit all over the place and erratic. So if you love cozy winters, if you want to hunker down during wintertime, feel like you're in a Hallmark movie, and you have a vibrant, sunny, warm summer that's not too hot, Montana delivers. All right, number 2, let's talk taxes. And spoiler alert, Montana wins in this one. California has one of the highest state income tax rates in the country, up to 13.3%. Montana has no state sales tax at all, no state sales tax, and lower income tax brackets, up to around 5.9% as of now. And the governor is in talks actually to lower that even below 5%. They're also lowering property taxes right now. Montana is experiencing likely one of the biggest tax breaks in Montana history. So while you do still have some taxes, it is way less in comparison to California. And if you make the move from California to Montana, One of the things that you will notice is definitely in your everyday spending, no state sales tax, which is huge, and lower income taxes, lower property taxes. You keep more of the money that you earn. So if you're used to paying California's income tax and sales tax, Montana will feel like a breath of financial air. Number 3 is cost of living. Cost of living is another major factor to consider if you're going to be relocating to Montana. In California, home prices are sky high, right? Especially in areas like the Bay Area or LA, Orange County, San Diego. Median home prices are well over the $1 million mark, and they're still climbing despite the fact that affordability is harder, right? On top of that, with California, you are seeing increased insurance premiums for homeowners insurance, increased utilities, higher permitting fees if you want to do additions or different things to your house, if you want to build. In Montana, especially in smaller towns or even places like Kalispell, you can still find beautiful properties with land and bigger size lots for a fraction of the cost. Usually the median home price can range from like $400,000 to $700,000 or $800,000, and they do get more expensive. But if you're looking for a standard, just modest home with some space, it is going to feel a lot less expensive than if you're coming from California. Gas, groceries, and utilities are generally more affordable in Montana, though heating costs in winter can be higher, but they are significantly lower than your AC bill if you live in a place like Riverside or Corona and you are running the air conditioning during the spring, summer months. What I will say too is that the cost of goods in Montana, I wouldn't say is that much lower or lower at all, but where you feel the relief is from the no sales tax and from gas being cheaper than in California, right? And just overall, the cost to live here still is lower than in California. All right, number 4 is lifestyle or the pace of life in California versus Montana. So because this is where the two states feel like completely different worlds, let's dive into this. California is fast-paced, career-driven, booming economy, crowded and very plugged in. You're always doing something. You're always going somewhere, and it feels like it's go, go, go. Anytime I go back to visit California, honestly, when I get on the 405 freeway, I get hit with some anxiety. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many cars here. There's so many people here. It's a lot, right? And it's just very compact and just hustle and bustle constantly. Montana is slower, it's quieter, and you're just more connected to nature and community. The traffic that you're going to get out here is perhaps because they're doing some construction on the road and you're stuck behind a tractor. I mean, it's going to be a very different type of pace in Montana versus California. There's still plenty to do. You're definitely not going to be bored in Montana, but it's not so congested. It's not so you just hustle and bustle all the time. So just feeling like overall your anxiety levels are a bit lower just because there's less people out, it's less crowded, less busy. It's just a slower pace of life and very enjoyable. When we moved, it was a big shift, but a good one. I was used to being go, 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 and I'm very type A. I like to be doing something all the time and always be busy. But living here, it has really helped me to lower my anxiety and just feel like I can just take a break and take a breath and just step outside, breathe in the fresh mountain air, and I just feel better. Number 5 is population and community. So let's talk population for a minute. These numbers are pretty staggering. So California has over 39 million people and 25 million just in Southern California alone, where I was born and raised and lived. And Montana, just 1.1 million people in the entire state. And it's a big state. In places like Kalispell, you're going to have about like 30,000 people, maybe a little bit more. Bozeman is about the same. Billings, Montana is our most populated city in Montana with 120,000 people. So that feels very, very busy in comparison to other parts of Montana. But still, it is nothing like the population in California. That means tighter-knit communities. You're going to see familiar faces at the grocery store. Your kids are going to see their friends from school in different places. And you really do get a sense of belonging and community. It's easier to get plugged in Montana. So let's talk some real talk about what you're going to miss if you move to Montana from California, but what you could also gain. And again, I feel like I could speak uniquely on this because I was born and raised in Southern California, lived there my whole life. Let me tell you, moving to Montana was not on my bingo card. Did not think it was going to happen, but it was the best decision that we made. And I do miss some things about California, but oh my gosh, what we got out of moving to Montana surpasses all of them. So things you're gonna miss in Montana if you come from a place like California: diverse restaurants and shopping. If you're a foodie and you like to go out to eat a lot, you're gonna be a little bit disappointed. There aren't very many options. Now they have, great steakhouses and there are some great local restaurants, but overall the options are pretty limited. And it's much more limited than if you're coming from an LA, a San Diego, a Bay Area, or an Orange County. It's going to feel like there aren't very many restaurant options. What you do gain, though, from that, if farm-to-table lifestyle, for example, is really important to you, if you like the idea of locally raised meat and dairy products and you want to support local farmers and have locally raised produce, that is a good trade-off. And you go to the farmers markets, there's so many great local businesses that sell farm fresh products made right here in Montana. Also shopping. There's not a lot of shopping here. Thank goodness for online shopping, I'll tell you right now, because options here are pretty limited. So if you like to go to the mall, if you like to go to boutiques, if you like to go to a place like Fashion Island or, the Grove, you're gonna miss that in Montana. Also, big city events or concerts. This was something for me to get used to. I love going to a good country music concert. I love going to sporting events. And you're going to be missing quite a bit of those unless you live in one of the college towns like a Missoula or a Bozeman, where you have a university there. You can go to the football games. You can go watch the university sports. Or if you live in a place like Kalispell or even Missoula too, they have minor league baseball teams where you can go to the smaller ball field and during the summertime have a great time. But overall, there is a lack of professional sports in the area. So if you like that, you are going to miss that if you move from California to Montana. Also concerts, like I mentioned, there's no big concert venue here. So what we do get, I'm in Northwest Montana and there is a fairgrounds about 10 minutes away. And we do get some great artists every now and again coming through there. We've had Lee Brice there. We've had Josh Turner come through. We've had Eli Young Band and things like that. But if you do want to see a concert, you're most likely going to have to travel. You're going to have to travel to either Spokane or Seattle or Salt Lake City or someplace else to get that concert that you would like to go to. So if you're used to going to some place like the Forum or Angel Stadium or something like that, you are going to be missing out on that experience in Montana. And also just milder winters. You're going to miss the more consistent, predictable weather. In Montana, you have to pack up your spring and summer wardrobe and put it away and pull out your big parkas and jackets and snow boots. In California, you're pretty much going to be seeing some consistent weather, give or take, right? So in a place like Montana, you really are going to have to be okay with the weather being what it is and, just adapting with it. But what you do gain, in essence, when you move to Montana from a place like California is more space. You're just going to feel like you're more spread out, less congested, a lot less traffic, like I mentioned before, a slower pace of life, which results in just less anxiety and being okay to just take a slower Sunday or spend the afternoon on a bike ride or on a hike or something. And it's really just nice to slow things down a little bit and enjoy being outside, especially when the weather is nicer. And during the wintertime, I highly suggest that you find a winter hobby. Learn how to ski or snowboard or go snowmobiling, snowshoeing, something to enjoy winter. Snow biking is a big thing here too. So you can find different things to do during the wintertime that are fun, that are active, and they make winter go by quicker and actually look forward to the wintertime in Montana. You have a lower cost of living. So while depending upon where you live, the median home price may or may not be much less than what you're used to, overall, the cost of living when it comes to utilities, and you have a closer connection to nature. I love looking out my window and just seeing so many mountains everywhere. And on a clear day, I can see Glacier National Park, right? I think one thing that really stood out to me when we visited Montana was the fact that there are no tall buildings. There's no skyscrapers. Nothing is really blocking your view from seeing the Rocky Mountains all around you, or Glacier National Park on a clear day. You can see Whitefish Ski Resort, which is like 25 minutes north, and you can see the ski trails right there. And Flathead Lake, you can see from just a few miles away, and it's just gorgeous. So The scenery is unobstructed here, unless you're in the woods and you have trees blocking your view, but there's no big buildings or skyscrapers that are going to block your view of the amazing scenery that's around you. And it's just really nice to just look around and take a deep breath in. One thing I'll mention too, a little bonus thing, the air quality. Air quality in Montana, so much better than in California, especially if you're coming from a place like LA or the Bay Area. You're going to feel like you can breathe in deeper. You may find that some of your, difficulties in breathing subside a little bit, and it's really, really nice. We are a higher elevation though, at least where I am in Northwest Montana. That could take some getting used to. I think we're at like 3,500 feet above sea level. So, but you get used to it. And the air is just so much cleaner out here. So that's another little bonus thing as well. So to wrap this all up, life in California and Montana are like night and day. They're both beautiful in their own way, and people are going to have their preference for which one that they like more. But it's important to consider all of these factors and more if you are thinking about relocating to a place like Montana from a place like California. I help people make a move and not just find a house, but start their Montana dream here. And I'll be honest about life out here and help you realize your Montana dream if that's what's right for you. So if you have questions or you want to start your Montana journey, reach out anytime. All of our contact information is below. We'd love to connect with you. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more life and real estate tips from the Flathead County. And comment on something below. Are you considering a move to Montana? What's stopping you? Or if you have made the move, what are your thoughts? I want to hear from you. So thank you so much. And I will see you on the next one.